Ready.
Capacity for sexual feelings. This is a definition of sexuality according to Webster Dictionary. Miley Cyrus, Amber Rose, and Kim Kardashian have more in common than just being Instagram starlets. Each of them represents someone who is comfortable with their body and in their sexuality. Today, I want to expose the way society and media criticizes women who choose to express themselves and be sexual beings. Throughout history, women have been taught to hide their bodies and to always be modest. This is something that we grew up hearing, something that our grandmothers and our mothers and fathers and everyone has told us since the beginning of time. According to the site Fashion Lady, the history of women's swimsuits, it is said that in the 18th century, women had to sew weights into their hem of their bathing gown in order to prevent the dress from flying and showing their legs. It's a little blurry, but as you can see in the 1800s, this is what the women wore to go swimming in. Could you even imagine having to swim in a full-length gown because you're not allowed to show your body, frankly? And that didn't change until 1906, around this time, where they were actually able to show legs and some arms, and now we're in the bikini, so time has changed, frankly. But just from right here, where how are you supposed to swim in a gown that long? It's frankly almost impossible. And then they have them put weights on the bottom of it, so their dress wouldn't fly up. I'm like, isn't that dangerous to have weights at the bottom of your swimsuit in the pool, right? But all that to stay modest. Cultural norms such as this is what has shaped us into the society that we are today. From early on, women are told to hide their bodies and to not be too revealing with their clothing. We are told that our bodies and our assets are distracting, and this mindset affects women on a day-to-day basis, making women feel that they can't be comfortable in their own skin and express themselves as they please and be comfortable with their sexuality. This goes for younger girls as well. This goes for younger girls as well. In 2015, an Oklahoma teen, this girl right here, was sent home because of her outfit. Her outfit was apparently inappropriate and distracting to boys in classrooms. As you can see, she's literally wearing a long cardigan that covers pretty much her whole entire body, leggings, boots, and a shirt. Nothing in this picture in this outfit is exposed, but yet she was sent home because it was distracting. The leggings were, I guess, too form-fitting. And another situation happened like this with another young girl in high school. She was sent home for wearing this particular outfit as well. The schools tried to take away their form of expression with their clothing by sending them home, which frankly is inconvenient to their education because they had to leave school early just because they were wearing something that the school believed was inappropriate and wasn't modest enough. Society has shamed women's bodies into the point that people even find breastfeeding their children as distasteful and inappropriate. Women have been told to leave restaurants, stores, and even churches, according to Huffington Post. I chose this picture. The quote says, "Nursing, this is a shopping mall. We can't allow women to brazenly display their breast." And as you can see in this picture, a woman is being criticized because she's breastfeeding her child while there's a poster in the back of a woman wearing a bra. I picked this picture because it captures what many women go through. A woman breastfeeding versus a model with her boobs out. Society only seems to accept one. When a woman chooses to show her body on her own, she is shamed. As a woman is choosing to breastfeed in public, she is shamed. But when society tells you it's okay to promote and show your body, it's fine. In this picture, her whole entire boob and cleavage is out, and that seems to not be a problem. This is why movements like Free the Nipple were created. Celebrities such as Miley Cyrus helped spread this movement of Free the Nipple that focuses mainly on women being treated equal and being able to express themselves as they please, and just as men do. And according to the site freethenipple.com, the movement is now raising awareness in countries across the world. And here's an example of what the movement looks like. There's usually like thousands of people, but in this picture there's a group of women lined up, and they have their boobs exposed and their nipples out just to make a stand against not being able to be sexual beings like men and gender inequality. And Miley Cyrus is seen wearing this shirt because she is obviously a free spirit, as we know, and she supports this movement as well. Other celebrities have decided to start their own movements that encourage women to express their sexuality. Amber Rose, reality TV star, started her own quote-unquote slut walk last year to protest against slut-shaming and gender inequality. And here's a picture of the walk. This held in Los Angeles last year, and they had another one this year. And in this picture, that is Amber Rose with the sign. It's backwards, but it says strippers have feelings too. And to promote her slut walk, she actually did a video.
I sure did. You're living your best life. All right.
Heavens! It seems as though that woman hasn't been home since last night.
I sure haven't.
Congratulations.
Nothing I haven't done before. In my day, I was no stranger to the walk of shame.
No shame here.
Hey, you were an inspiration to my daughter.
So that was just a video that she put together to promote her. To promote her slut walk, and she released a video to show the flip side of things, showing a woman that parades around and is proud of her actions and her sex life, frankly. 5 years ago, another hot topic that relates to this issue is Kim Kardashian's infamous sex tape that was released. Since then, she has been called countless names on Instagram and harassed on the internet. Till this day, she continues to take all the heat for a video that showed not just her, but another person, Ray J. Society seems to normalize men being sexual beings, and in many cases are applauded for these actions. Ray J seemed to never get the same heat that Kim has, and still continues to get. Society just won't let her live down the fact that she chose to be a carefree sexual being. Writer Shamanda, who was sampled in Beyonce's song Flawless, states, "We teach girls that they cannot be sexual beings in the same way that boys are." This quote is 100% true. I believe in 2016, it's time to acknowledge the fact that women are human and have the same feelings and needs as men, and shouldn't be shamed for that. The definition of sexuality never states who should be sexual, but just the simple fact that it means having sexual feelings. Everyone, man or woman, should feel comfortable in their own skin and express themselves as they please.
So Eunice, what did you think?
I like how you start off our presentation with like a real life example, and you had a really clear topic sentence. So I think like everyone really knows what you're going to talk about. You did a good job explaining the pictures that you include in your PowerPoint slides, and your explanation that you included in your speech was really detailed. I like your hand gesture and constant eye contact during your presentation. You had a good pace and it was really engaging. And you cited all your examples, which was really good. And overall, I just think it was a really good presentation.
All right. I like the definition as your attention device. I got an idea about what the topic was. I don't think that the purpose statement was as specific as it turns out to be toward the end of the presentation. It kind of seems like it's going in a slightly different direction, but maybe that's just because it got buried in with that definitional issue. I didn't really hear a preview in the body of the speech, and that goes along with the other things that I thought were a little bit problematic with the speech, because I didn't... I can see that there's kind of a chronological pattern. We're moving from down a continuum of sexual status or perception issues, but I'm not exactly sure what the dividing point between any of them is. So it's not as if there's not a pattern or organization, it's just that it's not clearly detectable. I thought you did a good job citing information for the most part. Sometimes you're rushing the citations. You kind of toss it off as an aside, but it's usually integrated into the presentation. The value of a couple of the movements that you have, the slut walks and free the nipple, the importance that they have in the culture, the influence that they've had on anybody, I think needs to be documented a little bit more, because it might just come across as famous people doing things to get attention, as opposed to there's some issue that's going on here. And I mean, like you say, well, usually there are thousands of people at the free the nipple thing. I'm going, oh well, looks like we got a dozen people who maybe want to hang with Miley. I don't know. It just felt a little bit like, okay, I know that it's going on, but the harms, I think, need to be explored a little bit more. Why the gender differences and why the cultural norms are problematic. I think there's a presupposition that they are problematic without a demonstration that they are problematic. And I think most people in your audience would probably agree that it's not fair, it's not right, or something along those lines. But in the best example that you have, I think, is the idea that those girls get disrupted from going to school because they get sent home for the way they were dressed, and the way they were dressed, for example, does it conform to the school's rules and policies about clothing, that kind of thing, dress code? If it does, then why the hell is there a problem? I think that there's an argument here to be made but you got two cases here, and generalizing from those two cases seems like an awfully big inference to make. We're going to be talking about reasoning down the road, and I think that's the other thing that's, I think, is a little bit of a problem with the speech, is that it's really, I think, geared to being persuasive speech, although it does have some informative elements to it. And at the end, it sounds much more like a persuasive speech than it did an informative speech. But at the beginning, it sounded informative. We were talking about what the changing mores are, and how people perceive their sexuality differently, and what the benefits of that are going to be. But at the end, it's more like, how come the world isn't getting with it, and figuring out that people should, if you got it, flaunt it and show it and grow it and all that kind of stuff, whatever it is the movement's got going on there. Okay, there you go. Have you got an outline?